that isn't meant for you. All right, Pisces, let's get into your reading. So, the message that I have for you today is this, and I need you to hear it. What is about to unfold in your world carries a weight that the cards could barely contain. Your life is about to change, not in some small way, but in a way that reshapes everything. The shift that is heading toward you is massive, undeniable, and it will alter your path completely. I need you to take a deep breath, settle in, because what the cards reveal today is staggering. This is not a gentle nudge from the universe. This is a full collision with your destiny. You are standing at the edge of something enormous, something that will redefine how you see your life. Whatever you thought was settled, whatever you assumed would stay the same, is about to be uprooted. The ground beneath your feet is already shifting, and by the time this plays out, nothing looks familiar. The transformation is not partial. It touches every corner, every relationship, and every plan you have in place. I know that sounds intense. I know it might even scare you, but this change is necessary. The universe has been building toward this moment for longer than you realize, and the time has arrived. You may have sensed it building, a restless charge in your bones, and now the cards confirm it. Let us go into it, because what showed up in the cards today left me without words. Our first card is the Tower, and if you know anything about tarot, this card changes lives. The Tower represents sudden destruction of what no longer serves you, followed by powerful and rapid rebuilding. When the Tower shows up, structures fall, illusions shatter, and what replaces them is raw, unfiltered truth. This is the kind of card that marks a before and after, and you are at that threshold. This is not a card that whispers, it roars, and it demands that you pay attention right now. The Tower confirms with undeniable force that something in your life has reached its breaking point. Whether it is a relationship, a career, a belief, or a pattern, the Tower is tearing it down. What falls was never built to last, and what rises from the rubble will be stronger than before. The Tower is not punishment, it is liberation. And once you see it that way, the fear dissolves. Everything crumbling is making space for something greater, and the cards see that greater thing forming already. The next card is the Wheel of Fortune, and this is destiny in motion, pure fate turning. The Wheel of Fortune does not care about your plans. It spins according to a higher blueprint. When this card lands beside the Tower, the message is absolute. Your life is entering a new era. The combination of these two cards alone screams divine intervention, and the universe is not being subtle. The wheel signals that old cycles are closing, doors are slamming shut, and new ones are forced open. Fate has chosen this moment for your transformation, and nothing you do can delay what is already set. Your life was meant to reach this exact crossroads, and the precision of the timing proves it. What the wheel makes unmistakable, without any room for doubt, is that this change was written for you. The events about to unfold were set in motion, orchestrated long before you arrived at this reading. The third card here is Judgment, and this is the call to rise, the ultimate spiritual alarm. Judgment does not show up for minor shifts. It arrives when your entire existence is being recalibrated. This card is a resurrection, a second chance, and a command from the universe to finally rise. Judgment confirms in the most profound way that the old version of you is being permanently retired. Everything you have survived, every setback, every loss, was preparation for the version of you about to emerge. The person you were last month, last year, is not the person you will be after this hits. The awakening touches every single area of your existence, spares nothing, and rebuilds from the ground up. What stands before you is not destruction. It is the blueprint of your next chapter being drawn. 3 cards landed in this reading that rarely appear together, and when they do, nothing stays the same. Together, they form a trifecta of transformation, and your reading could not have been louder or more urgent. The tower tears it down, the wheel spins your fate forward, and judgment demands that you rise. Every card confirms exactly why this message found you tonight, and I promise you, it is not random. The changes are massive, they are shocking, and when they land, your entire world looks different. Now come in close because what sits on your side of this reading deserves full attention. You have been feeling it for a while now, a stirring beneath the surface that you cannot name. Something inside you knows that a shift is coming, and that knowing keeps you awake most nights. Your dreams have been vivid lately, scattered and strange, as if your subconscious is processing something massive. You have been restless, unsettled in ways you cannot explain, and you keep searching for the reason. There is a tension in your body that arrived uninvited, and it hums louder with each passing week. You try to ignore it, push through your routine, but the unease follows you into every quiet moment. You feel caught between who you have been and who you are becoming, and neither side feels safe. The old version of your life still fits, but barely, like clothes you have already outgrown inside. You keep wearing the same routines, the same patterns, but nothing fits the way it used to. You sense the ending of something, a chapter closing, and the uncertainty of what follows terrifies you. Part of you craves the change, aches for it, while another part clings to what is familiar. The fear of the unknown grips you tighter than the pain of staying still, and you feel trapped. That internal tug of war exhausts you, drains your focus, and leaves you frozen in the middle. Our first card on your side is the Five of Pentacles, and this mirrors your inner state perfectly. The Five of Pentacles speaks to feelings of lack, insecurity, and walking through a storm without shelter. You have been carrying a heaviness that makes everything feel harder, and you wonder when it will lift. You question your own strength, wonder if you can withstand what is coming, and the doubt sits heavy. What this card reveals in its quietest truth is that you feel unsupported, overlooked, and passed over. The Five of Pentacles confirms you have been running on empty, pouring from a cup with nothing left. You give and give, stretch yourself thin, and no one around you notices the cracks forming underneath. The loneliness of carrying it all hits hardest at night when distractions fade and the truth settles. The next card is the Hermit, and this one validates the isolation you have been sitting inside. The Hermit represents withdrawal, solitude, and a deep need to process everything alone before making decisions. You have pulled away from people, from conversations, from noise, because your spirit demanded quiet. The world felt too loud, too demanding, and your only refuge was the silence you built around yourself. The Hermit confirms that your solitude is not weakness, it is preparation for what is about to unfold. You needed this time alone to hear your own voice, because the noise around you drowned it out. You sat in the quiet, not by choice, but because your soul gave you no other option. What the Hermit holds, beneath all the stillness and silence, is a soul preparing itself for transformation. Your withdrawal was never about giving up. It was about gathering strength for what is heading your way. The stillness was never wasted. Every moment of silence was building something you cannot yet see. The final card on your side is the Seven of Cups, and this exposes the overwhelm inside you. The Seven of Cups shows a mind flooded with options, fears, fantasies, and a total inability to choose. You have too many thoughts competing for space, too many paths, and no clarity on which to take. The confusion is not laziness. It is your nervous system absorbing too much at once without a filter. You feel everything at once, the hope and the dread, and your body holds it all without complaint. What the Seven of Cups uncovers with raw honesty is that you are paralyzed between fear and possibility. You want the change, but dread the cost. You crave the new, but grieve what gets left behind. Every possible outcome plays in your head on a loop, and none of them bring you any peace. Your mind spins between excitement and terror, and you cannot land on either one long enough to breathe. The emotional whiplash is real, swinging between faith and panic, and you pretend it does not affect you. Every card on your side confirms that you are not broken. You are in the middle of becoming. What feels like falling apart is actually falling into place, and the cards need you to trust that. You are not lost. You are not failing. You are in the middle of your own reinvention. Okay, let us go ahead and get into it because what is happening behind the scenes is extraordinary. The forces orchestrating these changes, silent and relentless, have been at work far longer than anyone guessed. This was not a random series of events. This was calculated, intentional, and timed with surgical precision. The alignment of events, the sequence, the order in which things fall, is no coincidence whatsoever. The universe has been rearranging the board, moving pieces into position, and setting the stage for this moment. Every delay, every closed door, every frustrating dead end was part of a deliberate spiritual strategy. The blocks were not punishment, they were positioning, clearing the field so the new could land properly. What looked like setbacks were actually redirections, steering this life toward the exact position it needed to reach. The redirections were not random, they were guided, and every single one carried the signature of fate. Nothing was wasted, nothing was accidental, and the timing of what unfolds now was chosen with intention. The spiritual realm has been watching, waiting, and preparing the conditions for a total life overhaul. The patience the universe showed in timing this, the restraint it practiced, reveals how massive this truly is. What is being assembled on the other side of this shift is far greater than what existed before. The old foundations had to be broken because what is being built requires a completely different base. The dismantling is not destruction for its own sake, it is renovation, with a blueprint drawn long ago. Our first card on this side is the Ace of Wands, and this represents the spark behind everything. The Ace of Wands is raw creation energy, the initial flame that ignites every major transformation. This card confirms that what is coming was born from a divine spark, not from chaos or coincidence. The ace carries purpose, direction, and unstoppable momentum, and it was placed on this path intentionally. The creative force driving this transformation is not random. It is ancient, focused, and impossibly precise. The fire behind this change burns with intention, not chaos, and it knows exactly where it is headed. The next card is the King of Swords, and this brings clarity of purpose to the entire shift. The King of Swords represents truth without compromise, decisions made from the highest possible vantage point. Every illusion, every comfortable lie, every false structure is being identified and removed with absolute authority. What this card reveals, with razor-sharp honesty, is that every cut being made serves a greater plan. The king confirms that nothing being removed was meant to stay, and what remains will be foundational. The King of Swords does not negotiate, does not compromise, and executes each decision without hesitation. There is no emotion clouding this process, no sentimentality, just pure divine logic executing a higher design. The precision of these changes, the sheer exactness of it, reveals an intelligence beyond human comprehension. Something far older, far wiser is steering this transition, and every move it makes is exact. The hand guiding this process is steady, unwavering, and committed to building something that cannot be shaken. The final card on this side is the Ten of Pentacles, and this is legacy, foundation, and permanence. The Ten of Pentacles confirms with absolute certainty that what is being constructed will last for generations. This is not a temporary chapter. This is a permanent restructuring of the entire foundation beneath this life. The roots being planted go deep, far past surface level success, reaching into the bedrock of destiny itself. What the Ten of Pentacles reveals, at its deepest layer, is that lasting stability is being hardwired in. The wealth coming through is not only material, it is emotional, spiritual, and rooted in deep purpose. The framework being built is unshakable, tested by time, and designed to hold everything that arrives next. The universe is not building something fragile, it is engineering a life that can hold real weight. The care behind this redesign, the attention to every single detail, proves nothing was left to chance. Every card on this side confirms that the forces behind these changes are intentional, powerful, and permanent. What is unfolding was never accidental, it was destined, and the evidence is written across every card. This transformation is not a request, it is a decree, and the entire spread confirms it without question. So let us see what is moving, because the action unfolding around this situation is undeniable. The changes are no longer theoretical, they are materializing, and the first signs are already visible. Doors that were sealed shut for months are swinging open, and new pathways are forming in real time. Conversations that never happened before are about to take place, and they will alter the landscape entirely. The momentum building beneath the surface has reached critical mass, and it is ready to break through. Opportunities are lining up in a sequence that feels almost orchestrated because it was, and they arrive fast. The timeline has accelerated dramatically, and what once felt years away is now knocking at the front door. Decisions that were postponed, avoided, or buried are surfacing, and they demand immediate attention and resolution. The stalling is over, the waiting has expired, and every stagnant area of this life begins to shift. The universe is clearing the table, removing what blocks progress, and replacing it with something functional. Financial movement is incoming, whether through a new position, an unexpected offer, or a complete career pivot. The material world is responding to the energetic shift, and the evidence will show up in tangible form. Living situations, work environments, and daily routines are all subject to change within the coming weeks. Routines that once felt permanent are about to dissolve, and what fills the space will feel entirely new. Nothing remains untouched, and the areas that feel most stuck will be the first to crack open. Our first card on the action side is the Three of Pentacles, and this confirms collaborative momentum. The Three of Pentacles represents projects taking shape, plans being executed, and teamwork producing visible results. This card signals that the groundwork, laid carefully in silence, is about to become public and undeniable. What the Three of Pentacles confirms with striking force is that recognition for past effort finally arrives. The work done behind closed doors, the sacrifices made in private, are about to pay off in full. New partnerships, alliances, or professional connections are forming, and they carry real weight and lasting potential. The Three of Pentacles does not deal in small wins. It signals structural progress that others will notice. The results showing up now are not luck. They are the direct product of effort that went unseen. Contracts, agreements, or formal commitments may appear, and they represent the next phase locking into place. The building phase has officially begun, and what gets constructed now will stand for a very long time. Skills that were dormant, talents that went unused, are suddenly being called forward and put to work. The universe is assigning new roles, new responsibilities, and the positioning happens quickly from this point forward. The second card is the Page of Wands, and this brings bold new beginnings and electrifying news. The Page of Wands carries a spark of inspiration, a fresh start, and the courage to chase it. When this card appears in the action position, it means a message or invitation arrives that changes everything. What the Page of Wands delivers, without warning or build-up, is an opportunity that demands an immediate response. This is not a slow reveal. It lands suddenly, and the window to act on it is narrow. The news coming through could involve travel, relocation, a venture, or a creative breakthrough that shifts direction. The page confirms, without any hesitation, that the universe is launching this transition at maximum speed. The invitation arriving will not come twice, and the readiness to act on it determines what unfolds next. New environments, new faces, and new energy enter the picture, and they bring momentum that cannot be ignored. The pace of change from this point forward is rapid, deliberate, and leaves no room for hesitation. What arrives will feel sudden but earned, unexpected but perfectly timed, and it reshapes the entire trajectory. Every card in the action position confirms that movement is no longer approaching. It has already started. The wheels are turning, the gears are locked, and the machinery of transformation is fully operational now. What was once a feeling, a premonition, a quiet knowing, is now becoming something visible and concrete. The action phase of this reading leaves no question. The changes are here, and they are moving fast. The shift is live, the momentum is building, and from this point forward, nothing goes back. Now, come in close, because what the cards expose next lives in the place no one talks about. The confessions buried inside this situation run so deep that even acknowledging them feels dangerous. The hidden truth beneath all of this change, beneath the noise, is a desire that burns quietly. What has never been spoken, what gets swallowed every time, is the real story underneath everything. The confession is not complicated. It is terrifyingly pure, and that purity makes it so hard to voice. Deep down, beneath every fear and every excuse, lives a craving for a life that feels completely different. The secret wish is not for small adjustments or minor tweaks. It is for a total reinvention. A version of this life has been imagined in private, designed in silence, and never once shared. It lives in the quiet hours, in daydreams that get dismissed, and in prayers whispered when nobody listens. The desire is for freedom, real freedom, the kind that strips obligation and replaces it with purpose. What has never been admitted, not to friends, not to family, is a truth too heavy to carry. The old life was suffocating, draining every ounce of energy and leaving nothing behind but raw resentment. The mask worn for years, the performance of contentment, the smile stitched over exhaustion, was pure survival. Beneath that mask sits a hunger for something authentic, something aligned, and something that finally feels earned. The longing is not for luxury, it is for alignment, and that distinction is rarely understood. Our first card in the confession space is the Sun, and this reveals the brightest hidden desire. The Sun is pure joy, fulfillment, and the kind of success that radiates from the inside outward. This card confirms that what is secretly craved, what lives under practicality, is lasting, genuine happiness. Not happiness as a concept, not happiness as a reward, but happiness as the default state of living. The Sun exposes a longing for mornings that feel light, for work that feels meaningful, for lasting peace. The confession inside this card, raw and unguarded, is that joy has felt unreachable for far too long. A grief lives beneath this desire, a mourning for years spent performing instead of actually existing fully. The Sun confirms, in its warmest light, that what is wanted most is permission to exist without apology. That confession alone carries enough weight to reshape everything, and the cards hold it without flinching. The desire is not greedy or excessive, it is the most basic human need, wrapped in silence. To wake up feeling at home, to breathe without tightness, to move through days without heaviness or dread. The secret prayer has always been the same, whispered in different words, but carrying identical meaning each time. The second card is the Four of Wands, and this reveals the hidden vision of the life desired. The Four of Wands represents celebration, homecoming, and the feeling of arriving somewhere that was always meant. What this card uncovers, beneath layers of doubt and caution, is a vivid picture painted years ago. The hidden confession is specific, detailed, and has been constructed over years of quiet and private imagination. A home that feels sacred, connections that feel reciprocal, purpose that ignites passion, and room to exhale. The Four of Wands confirms that this vision was never fantasy. It was prophecy dressed as a daydream. What was imagined in private, sketched out in stolen moments, was the blueprint being delivered from above. The longing for roots, for belonging, for a place to land and finally rest, is the deepest confession. Every celebration witnessed from the outside, every milestone belonging to others, left a quiet ache behind. The unspoken truth is that it was never jealousy, it was recognition, a mirror showing what was possible. The desire to build something lasting, something beautiful, something with meaning beyond the surface, is painfully real. That desire has been carried alone, nursed in private, and guarded from every voice that might dismiss it. Every card in the confession position confirms, without exception, that what lives beneath is not weakness, but wisdom. The confessions are sacred, the desires are valid, and the cards honor every single one without reservation. What has been hidden for so long deserves air, deserves space, and this reading gives it exactly that. The deepest truth revealed tonight is that this life was always meant to feel better than it has. Okay, let us go ahead and bring this reading home because the near future holds something extraordinary. What unfolds from this point forward is not gradual. It is swift, and the impact lands immediately. The next several weeks carry a momentum that rearranges priorities, reshapes routines, and redefines everything. Expect the unexpected, because the universe has no interest in easing into this. It moves at full force. Our first card for the near future is the World, and this is completion at the highest level. The World represents the end of a massive cycle, total fulfillment, and everything arriving where it belongs. When the World appears in the future position, it confirms the transformation reaches its destined conclusion. What the World promises with unshakable certainty is that the struggle was never permanent and reward is close. The pieces that felt scattered for so very long are falling into formation, and the picture makes sense. A chapter that lasted years is officially closing, and what opens in its place is wider than imagined. The completion is not a distant promise, it is arriving, and the cards leave no room for doubt. The second card is the Six of Wands, and this is victory, recognition, and well-earned triumph. The Six of Wands confirms that this transformation will be seen, acknowledged, and celebrated by those who matter. What the Six of Wands delivers in the weeks ahead is proof that every sacrifice built toward this. The recognition arriving is not shallow praise. It is validation that echoes through an entire life. Others will witness the shift, notice the glow, and wonder how everything changed so quickly and completely. The near future is bright, powerful, and lined with the kind of success that cannot be undone. My advice to you through this reading is to stop bracing for disaster and start preparing for blessings. The resistance you carry, the habit of expecting the worst, must be released before the new can land. Open your hands, open your chest, open your schedule, because what arrives needs space to fit properly. Do not shrink from the magnitude of what is coming, because you were built for this exact moment. Trust that the discomfort of transformation is temporary, and what waits on the other side is permanent. Stop asking if you deserve it. The cards already answered that, and the answer is an absolute yes. Let go of the old identity, the one that suffered quietly, because that version completed its purpose. Step into this next season with your head lifted, your shoulders back, and your faith fully restored. The best thing you can do right now is say yes to the change instead of resisting it. You have waited long enough, prepared long enough, and the universe confirms that the waiting ends here. The message tonight was direct. Your life changes forever, and the shifts heading your way are massive. The changes are shocking in their scale, breathtaking in scope, and they reshape every corner of existence. Nothing about this message was exaggeration, and every card confirmed it across the entire spread tonight. The Tower confirmed collapse of what no longer served. The Wheel of Fortune confirmed your destiny turning. Judgment confirmed the spiritual awakening, and the Five of Pentacles showed the weight carried in silence. The Hermit validated the withdrawal. The Seven of Cups exposed the overwhelm flooding every decision made. The Ace of Wands revealed the divine spark. The King of Swords confirmed precision behind every cut. The Ten of Pentacles locked in legacy, and the Three of Pentacles confirmed visible collaborative progress. The Page of Wands brought bold new beginnings. The Sun exposed the deepest craving for genuine joy. The Four of Wands held the vision. The world sealed completion, and the Six of Wands crowned victory. This reading was one of the most powerful spreads to come through, and every card carried real weight. Not one card was wasted, not one message was filler, and together they told a story of rebirth. Whatever doubt remains after tonight, let it dissolve, because the cards spoke and they were unanimous. You stand at this very moment at the threshold of the life quietly built inside your heart. This is your time. This is your shift. And everything from this moment forward reflects the new chapter. Thank you for being here, for trusting this reading, and for allowing the cards to speak so freely. Sending you all the love and all the light. And I truly mean every word of that completely. What unfolds from this point forward is not gradual. It is swift, and the impact lands immediately.